When museum curator Dr. Helen Foster looked closely at this 1895 photograph in 2021, she saw exactly what everyone else had seen for the past 126 years, without ever noticing the hidden truth. Two young sisters wearing matching white dresses and holding hands in a beautiful garden full of colorful flowers and soft green plants. Their faces looked serious and still in the usual old-fashioned Victorian way that people often had back then when sitting for pictures. The photo had been sent to the Boston Historical Society with no name attached at all and no explanation. Only a short handwritten note came with it that read, "The Davies sisters, 1895. May they finally rest in peace and find some comfort at last." Helen nearly put the photo away without another thought, because it looked so normal and peaceful at first glance, just like any other old family picture from long ago. But then she noticed something strange about the smaller girl's hand that made her pause. The fingers were curled at a very odd angle that did not look right at all, almost like they were stuck in place and could not move. She decided to get a high-resolution scan done right away to see more clearly and understand what was hidden. What the scan showed helped Helen understand why this picture had been kept hidden for more than a century, and why the note said "finally rest" in such a sad and heavy way. Before we show what is really in this photograph, make sure to subscribe right now and join us for more stories like this. What you are about to hear will change the way you look at every old family picture forever and make you think twice about them every time you see one. This is not just a photograph of two sisters smiling or standing together. It is a picture of a promise that lasted even after death and touched so many lives in the most heartbreaking way possible. The photograph arrived at the Boston Historical Society on March 15th, 2021, inside a plain envelope with no return address whatsoever and no other clues. Inside was one sepia-colored photo, about 5 by 7 inches, mounted on thick cardboard, like most photos from the 1890s. The picture showed two girls standing in what looked like a lovely garden full of flowers and soft green plants, swaying gently. The older girl, about 10 or 11 years old, stood on the left side. She wore a white Victorian dress with a pretty lace collar and puffed sleeves that looked so elegant and carefully made. Her dark hair was pulled back tightly from her face in a neat style. She looked solemn and almost haunted, as if she carried a heavy secret deep in her heart that no one else could see. Beside her stood a smaller girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old, also dressed in white from head to toe with the same style of dress. She was shorter and thinner with the same dark hair and serious look on her face that made her seem older than her years. The younger girl's right hand was held tightly by the older girl's left hand. Their fingers were locked together so firmly, like they would never let go no matter what happened. Behind them were climbing roses on a trellis that looked soft and peaceful in the gentle light of the day. The soft afternoon light made it clear the photo was taken outside in the open air, which was unusual for that time when most pictures were done inside studios, with special lamps and backdrops. At the bottom of the photo, written in faded brown ink that had grown light over the years, were the words Lily and Rose Davies, June 1895. The note with it, written in shaky old handwriting on modern paper, said, "The Davies sisters, 1895. May they finally rest. I can't keep this any longer. Someone should know the truth about what really happened here." Dr. Helen Foster, age 52, had been the curator of the photo archives at the Boston Historical Society for 18 years and had seen so much. She had looked at thousands of Victorian photographs in her life and thought she had seen everything sad or strange. This one seemed ordinary at first, just another formal picture of children from a wealthy family enjoying a quiet moment. But something about it troubled Helen deep inside and would not let her go, no matter how hard she tried. She studied the photo more carefully with a magnifying glass for a long time, turning it over and over in her hands and looking at every corner. The older girl, Lily, looked straight at the camera with steady eyes that seemed full of quiet strength and love. Her expression was hard to read. Not quite sad, not quite angry, but something closer to quiet acceptance and inner strength that a child should never have to show. The younger girl, Rose had her head tilted a little toward her sister in a gentle way, as if she was leaning on her for support. Her eyes looked unfocused and glassy, almost empty, like they were looking far away into another world. Her mouth was slightly open, as if she wanted to speak one last word or whisper something important. Then Helen noticed the hand again. Rose's hand looked unnatural and stiff in a way that sent a small chill down her back. The fingers curved in a strange way, and the skin tone seemed a bit different, darker in places, like it had changed over time in the heat. Helen checked the photo size, and mounting very carefully with her special tools to be sure. Everything matched 1895 photography methods perfectly in every way, and showed it was real. It was not a modern fake at all. Still, something felt very wrong and kept pulling at her heart, like a quiet voice asking for help. She ordered a high-resolution digital scan at 12,800 dpi so they could see every tiny detail that no one had noticed before for over 100 years. That night she had a strange and vivid dream about the two girls standing right there in her office, as if they had come to visit. The older one was crying quietly with tears running down her face, while the younger one stood completely still, not moving or breathing at all. Lily kept whispering the same words again and again in a soft voice, full of pain and hope at the same time. The scan took 4 long hours to finish because of how detailed and careful the work had to be. When the imaging expert, Marcus Chen, loaded the image on the big screen, they saw everything so clearly it took their breath away and left them speechless for a moment as the truth slowly appeared. At high magnification, Rose's hand showed stiff fingers and waxy skin that did not look alive in any way at all. It was rigor mortis and post-mortem changes that only happen after death has come. The child was already dead when the photo was taken. Using special infrared light that could see what eyes could not, they could clearly see that Lily was alive and warm with the signs of a living person, but Rose showed no signs of life at all. Just cold and empty like a doll. Someone had dressed up. Her body had been dead for several days, maybe even a week before the picture was made in the garden. When they looked at the faces in extreme detail on the screen, Rose's eyes were cloudy, and her mouth showed clear signs of death that had started to set in slowly. Someone had carefully applied powder and blush to make her cheeks look pink and healthy, like she was still playing in the garden with her sister. Lily's face had clear tear tracks under the makeup she wore too. She had been crying during the photo, but tried hard to hide it so the picture would look perfect for her mother. They also found faint pencil writing hidden on the mounting bore, D that no one had seen before because it was so light and small. It said in a child's handwriting, "I promised Mama I would hold her hand forever. I kept my promise." June 12, 1895. Helen searched old records for many hours and even days, digging through dusty files and old books at the Society and other places. She found the Davies family from Boston's Beacon Hill neighborhood, a rich and important family at the time. Rose died of scarlet fever on June 3rd, 1895, at only 6 years old, after being sick for weeks with high fever. Lizzie died 7 days later, on June 10th, at 11 years old, from the same terrible illness that spread so fast. The photo had been taken in those sad days in between when one girl was gone, but the other was still fighting to keep her word no matter the cost. The records showed Rose's body was kept at home for a full week before burial, even though it was hot summer weather, and that was very unusual and risky for everyone. Lily had refused to leave her dead sister's side no matter what anyone said or how much the doctor begged her to stop. She slept next to the body every single night and held her hand the whole time, whispering to her like she was still alive and could hear every word of comfort. The family called photographer Thomas Blackwell, who specialized in memorial pictures for families in mourning. He came to the house right away and took this special photo in the garden, as Lily had asked him to do. Lily insisted that both girls look alive and happy together, and that they hold hands tightly, no matter what the camera saw. She cried quietly the whole time, but stayed strong for the picture so her mother could have one last good memory to hold on to forever. Lily died 3 days after the photo was taken. Her last words to the doctor were, "I kept my promise." She had given everything she had for that promise, even her own life in the end. The mother, Eleanor, never recovered from the terrible loss and the guilt she felt every single day after. She spent the rest of her life in an asylum, mostly staring at this photograph for hours every single day, without saying much to anyone around her. The father also suffered greatly inside and died young, from a broken heart that never healed, no matter how hard he tried. The photo was passed down quietly through family members who found it too painful to look at or even talk about for long without feeling tears come. Finally, in 2021, an elderly descendant sent it to the Historical Society because he did not want his children to carry the heavy, sad story any longer and feel its weight on their hearts too. Today, the photograph stays safe in the restricted archives, where only serious researchers can see it with special permission. It is a quiet reminder of a young girl's deep love and a promise she kept, even beyond death. It shows how far love can go when it refuses to let go, even when the pain is too much for anyone to bear, and the only kind thing would be to say goodbye and move on. Some stories like this are too powerful to forget and too gentle to show to the world every day. They remind us that the strongest promises come from the hearts of children who love with everything they have, and sometimes that love changes everything forever. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, comment your thoughts, and subscribe.